So today I'm gonna present about the topic might be tested, the investigation of biphasic calcium phosphate with various calcium appetite and beta 3 calcium phosphate ratio under the artificial saliva condition. The presentation has 4 sessions, but I'm gonna present the introduction. Firstly, in the human body, most calcium phosphate exists at the compound of the healthy appetite, which is decreased at a specific restore form of a mineral. They are the product of the reaction between the two ion calcium and phosphate. This is an inorganic compound that combines with the organic compound mainly is protein, collagen type 1, and water to form the heart tissues. The typical heart tissues are bone, enamel, and dentin. Therefore, damage to these heart tissue cannot be avoided. Those most common lesions are fractures, especially in the oral environment. The dentin hypersensitivity is a typical case in all subjects, caused by the erosion of the appetite layer covering the dentin. To be more specific, this is the on the top left corner. In the bottom left corner is the picture of the dentin. In the cross section, we can see the dentin tubulus. Along with dentin tubulus is the cytoplasm tails of the odontoblast that contains nerves connected to the pumps with the sensing function. Then this will cause the pain. There are many materials used to repair these injuries. Among them, there are two distinct compounds, healthy appetite and beta 3 calcium phosphate. They are both bioactivities, biocompatibility, and a high degree of stability. For that reason, these have osteoconductive properties, which means that they can elicit the bone repair. However, because the healthy appetite is a significant compound of the heart tissues, it is stable in the human body, in the body fluid, and difficult to be absorbed. In contrast, beta 3CP is easily absorbed by the human body fluid and can degrade to release two ion calcium and phosphate to help repair the heart tissue. These two compounds to combine to create the to material that called BCB, which has the total properties of each phase. Because each compounds of each component changing each phase will change the material properties, so the potential of BCB is unlimited. The commonly seen modification units are shown in the diagram. As mentioned, depending on the percentage of each phase, we change the degradation. After implanting the material, the newborn child relays the implant with the rapid resorption, similar to the function of the osteoclast. The properties can be altered by the material reaction time, the temperature, or the initial molar ratio of calcium and phosphate. This have the material to dissolve in the human body, releasing two ion calcium and phosphate in the human body and have been recovering the heart tissue of the host. Besides that, the scaffold architecture is also an influencing factor. For example, shape, surface roughness, red size, or porosity of the material can have the cells adhere to the material to facilitate the osteoconductive process. All of these create the dynamic interaction of BCB with the biological environment and have heart tissue generation. However, the selection of these ratio form of two phases is still under debate. The question is whether to increase or decrease the solution rate of the material by reducing or increasing the beta-3 calcium phosphate phase of PCB, or would each single phase itself be better? To my point of view, there may be a need necessary to develop a set of the ideal composition ratio for the different applications based on the legal requirements. And the two figures about depict the main introduction of the restorative materials. Firstly, when after implementing the material, the solution of the surface will cause a supersaturation of the calcium and phosphate ions, lead to their precipitation and the formation of the biological apatite layer. In the following figure, the apatite is formed at the surface of materials, and the newly born from it will be fill up the gap between the surrounding bond and the apatite layer. Then chemical bonding is then formed between the apatite and the surface material. This is the essential requirement for the material to have connect to the living bond. And on the other hand, the formation of dentines is closely related to the bond in several ways. You can see in the two following figures, their composition and their construction is nearly the same, and both bond and dentines are composed of the collagen matrix, mainly type 1 collagen, and mineral phase with the hydroxyl apatite crystal. But however, the relative proportion of these proteins may be different slightly. To my best knowledge, there are still need to investigate the effect of X-ray in PCB in general and their application of PCB in dentistry. Make the artificial saliva is a good candidate for the in vitro study. However, this course is not focused on the hydroxyl apatite forming activity, but mainly on the reaction of the PCB with the various ratio of hydroxyl apatite and beta-3 calcium phosphate. Therefore, this research is to investigate the behavior of PCB with various ratio of hydroxyl apatite and beta-3 calcium phosphate under the artificial saliva condition.